I get pretty uncomfortable if I hit, to sort of mix metaphors here, but like in a baseball metaphor, if I hit too many home runs in a row, I'm concerned that I'm playing in the wrong league. Because I think really the game of life is about sort of being out on that edge of trying to find what your best potential can be. And it's fun hitting home runs, but that isn't the limits of potential, right? And so
Hey guys, welcome to Keep On Pushing Stories, where absolutely we tell you real life stories of perseverance, success, determination, resilience, because we hope that you will be able to relate to them as well in your success journey. And today I'm really excited to invite my friend and welcome my friend Dan T. Rogers to the show. Dan, my man, welcome to Keep On Pushing Stories.
thanks for having me, Devon. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, thanks for joining. First of all, Dan, tell us what it is that you do. How do you serve? How do you bring value to the lives of others?
Yeah, so for a long time, what I've been trying to do is just use my vision and creativity to help other people figure out what they want and how to get it. And sometimes I do that for profit, and sometimes I do it for fun. But when I'm at my best, that's what I'm doing. And when I'm in trouble, when I'm causing chaos, I use that statement to sort of reconcile, because I'm usually not doing that. I'm usually I'm usually trying to impose my vision on other people or something. But yeah. So that's where I'm at my best, I think.
So tell us, how do you do that? How do you use your creativity to help people get to where they want to go?
Yeah, so I'm super fortunate that I've had a full life, and I've sort of, if you think of life or success as like a building or whatever, I've spent a lot of time in the basement, and I've had a fair bit of time in the penthouse. Not too much time in between, but a lot of time on both the bottom and the top. And so in that, I've gotten to become a student of sort of just how things work and how to accomplish things, and met a lot of bright, smart people. I haven't figured anything out other than just what other people have done. So I have these restraints that I try to live by, and one of them is copy off the smartest kid in class. And so I use sort of my creativity of like, oh, well, this would be a great time to use somebody else's great idea. They're never my ideas. It's more, I just have this sort of repository of ideas that could be helpful to people. So.
So if someone wanted your help, they wanted to tap into your creativity to get to the penthouse from the basement, on that express elevator that you like to take. How do they do that, my man?
So I think the best place to find me is just on LinkedIn at Dan T. Rogers. Yeah, they can just reach out right there. Yeah.
Dan T. Rogers on LinkedIn. All right.
Yes, sir.
So Dan, let's get into this, man. I would definitely like to know your Keep On Pushing story. We want to hear of a time when you overcame a significant challenge, or you had to stretch your comfort zone in order to achieve something incredible. So please do tell us.
Yeah, so I think I'm fortunate. I think I'm fortunate that I have a lot of those. I think that's what makes for a full life. It's grossly uncomfortable at the time, but that's where the richest moments of life come, is from having the sort of courage to keep going when it gets like that. But so most recently, when COVID hit, I'm in my core business. When COVID was going on, it was part of the corporate events industry. And so we had a hard stop starting in February of 2020. And really, quite frankly, at the recording in December of 2021, our business isn't back yet. Trade shows are starting to happen, but it's not even back. So it's going to be probably 2 full years of just zero business. And so the adversity was in a nutshell, good, bad, right, or wrong, the folks that we had been serving in that saw us very distinctly as one type of solution provider. And we were blessed that they thought of us that way, but they did not think of us in any other way. And because they couldn't apply that solution because we weren't doing any business, we couldn't be useful to them. And so we kept a core team intact, and we had to figure out a way that we could find a new community to serve. And I have a rich community of business owners. And so we sat down with probably at the end of the day, it was probably close to maybe 24 business owners and had different levels of conversations. And it was sort of like pro bono consulting. It was just like, hey, I've got all this experience. I'd love to be helpful. How can I be helpful? And eventually, over the course of about 9 months, what crystallized is two different people really sort of demanded, quite frankly, that we take our thoughts on sort of sales and marketing and how we had organized our business and sort of the core systems that we believe that a business is, and sort of take that out to the world. So that's what we're trying to do now. We're still midstream. We launched a business in February of 2021, and it's called Sales Sidekick. And we're still trying to figure out how we can create value for our customers around that. But it's sort of, I joke somewhat kiddingly, but somewhat seriously, that business is a COVID baby. Like, I mean, that's our COVID baby. Like, yeah. we couldn't do our normal work. And so we went out to serve people, and we had a business out of it. Yeah. So,
yeah. So, I like something you said earlier, that, you're going through these tough times and it is grossly uncomfortable, but still enriching, rewarding. Expound on that for me.
Yeah. So I'm fortunate. I know a lot of people that do a lot of this too. And some people do it quite elegantly. I think it's possible to do elegantly. I don't do it very elegantly. I'm a very inelegant learner. My face turns red. I sweat a lot. I say some F-bombs along the way, but that to me is actually a fairly comfortable place to be, because I know I'm learning. I get pretty uncomfortable if I hit, to sort of mix metaphors here, but like in a baseball metaphor, if I hit too many home runs in a row, I'm concerned that I'm playing in the wrong league. Because I think really the game of life is about sort of being out on that edge of trying to find what your best potential can be. And it's fun hitting home runs, but that isn't the limits of potential, right? And so I enjoy it, even though at the time it's incredibly frustrating and all that. But the only thing worse than that would be to be hoping that what we're doing is going to be relevant in the future. At least when we're sort of struggling to find ways to create value, there's a confidence that we'll find something that will be of value to the marketplace. Yeah.
What was, as you were going through that struggle to find something to give birth to your COVID baby, which you didn't know what that was going to look like. Yeah. What was the most difficult part of that journey for you?
So the part of it is that there was two parts of it, I think, that were most difficult for me. One is I was really fixed on an idea of what I thought was useful. And quite frankly, maybe it was or it wasn't, but I either couldn't articulate it or it just wasn't useful to other people. And so I had to sort of let go of what I thought was interesting and what I thought was useful. And then the other part is that other people would tell me, hey, we think this is where you can be useful, but I didn't know how to articulate it. And so, it was real, and I had all this evidence based on my previous business that we could do it. And they were kind enough, we were close. They believed, but it was unbelievably difficult to find the articulation to be able to explain it, because it was sort of source code. You know what I mean? It was like, it was just baked into what our company was. And so, fortunately from some early on clients and some members to the team, we've been able to sort of synthesize that into some better language that's a little bit easier to take. But it was hard to try to figure out, like, we're pretty solid. We're pretty sure that we've got a diamond here, but we got to clean away all the stuff and figure out how to cut it. Right. And so that was pretty tough. It was pretty tough.
Yeah. Talking about things being tough, what would you say were the toughest times, and what were the lessons you learned in these multiple trips from the basement to the penthouse? And as you try to give birth to this new COVID baby?
Yeah. So I think the big one to me is that there are no special snowflakes. Like, there just isn't. I'm not a special snowflake. Like, at the end, we're all way more alike than not alike, and that all businesses are way more alike than not alike, and all marketplaces are all way more alike than not alike. And if I can sort of focus on executing on that special uniqueness, but not falling in love with it, that was difficult to do. It was super difficult to do. And then it was also just difficult to do that I was going to have to go through the learning process myself, even though I had the ability to be able to organize a company in the way that I wanted to share with others, that I was going to have to go through my own learning process on how to teach other people to be able to do that.
Mhm.
And that was frustrating because I was like, wow, I'm pretty sure that this will work. But then when you can't explain it or teach it, like that's pretty tough, you know? So we're still working through that for sure. We haven't figured that out completely. We're on our way though.
But that's part of the success journey, isn't it? You yourself learning and going through the process so that you can then empower and transform others.
Yeah, no, I saw this the other day, and I can't cite you the reference, but if somebody gets on Google Images, they'll find what I found. So there was a quote that one of the people that I've copied off of used to throw around, that he said, you know, one of the largest barriers to learning is the teacher, but the best way to learn something is to teach it. And
Mhm.
then I did a little research around teaching and learning and all that. And according to this thing that I saw the other day, that when you actually go to teach the content, that the retention level's at 95%. And so, you know, we had sort of executed it successfully in our core business, but I think we're actually learning what we did as we try to teach it to other people. And so we're super grateful that people are willing to sort of give us a shot. I mean, our initial clients, I think there's a value alignment. They align with sort of the basic idea of what we're proposing, and they sort of blindly follow us, that the value alignment will lead to some value creation. And so far we've done reasonably well. So yeah. But it's tough. It's tough to do that. Cause I mean, you know, my own, you know, God forbid, my own ego wants to be successful. And then as a business owner, I have some contempt for business consultants, no disrespect to anybody, but you know, and so now I'm talking to my other business owners, and you desperately want to over deliver for them. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it's tough, but the learning's happening. And I don't think there's any way to get there other than just by, you know, making the mistakes at full speed and trying to learn as fast as you can.
Yeah. So you mentioned that as you were going through this process, making
Mhm.
that pivot during COVID, you had clients who were looking at your business and going, "Hey, I think this is where you could be useful to us." And
Mhm.
if I was hearing you right, I think there was some reluctance on your part to go down that road. What got you to begin to embrace, at least listen to those ideas and perhaps embracing them?
Yeah. So to put a little context around it, I sort of fancied myself a systems guy. I thought it could be helpful just sort of designing systems or whatever, you know, workflows, processes, that sort of stuff, or even overall, you know, business model design. And that's where I thought it could be helpful. And, you know, maybe I could or couldn't, but I certainly couldn't articulate in a way. I mean, I was sort of helpful to a couple people that way, but the message that I was getting, they're like, look, man, your company was on the Inc. 5000 for 7 years in a row without salespeople. That's super cool. Like that's super cool. And I would love to have that type of growth without salespeople. That would be interesting. And so then I was having conversations with a handful of people just really about that. And one of them just said, you have to come in and train our people. And I didn't want to do sales training because I was like, I don't even believe in it. And we just certainly don't, I mean, I don't disbelieve in salespeople. It's just not my approach.
Right.
But they wanted us. And I thought, well, this will be a great opportunity to figure out how to sort of package our mindset. And so, and I will be forever grateful to those people that they gave us the opportunity. Although I think I learned more from the process than anyone that went through the training,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I mean, we gave them our best, but I think the teacher walked away with more than the students. So, yeah.
Well, you know, when you give, you get.
Yeah.
So, dude, you know, we have all been dealing with the uncertainty of the last 2 years due to this COVID pandemic, and all of us have had to pivot in some way, shape, or form. And you have demonstrated through a powerful story how you have pivoted and given birth to your COVID baby,
Yeah.
going through the process, learning and giving. Amazing story, powerful lessons. Thank you so much, Dan, for sharing with us.
Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity, Devin. I really enjoyed it.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Guys, if you enjoyed this, if you found it valuable, then please like, please share, please subscribe, right? Share it, yes, with your friends because they too want to be inspired. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Until then, keep on pushing.